They say one moment can change everything. But no one tells you what that moment feels like. No one prepares you for the silence that hits harder than screams, for the weight that presses against your chest when you realize you've been sleepwalking through life. See, we expect these moments to arrive like lightning, crashing down, making everything explode into clarity. But that's not how it came for me. Mine didn't come with fanfare. It didn't come with a crash or a breakdown. It didn't arrive like a wrecking ball. It slid in like a whisper. A subtle, almost forgettable moment. So quiet, I almost missed it. But it changed me forever. It was a random Tuesday. I had just come home from work, the same soul-sucking routine that drained me, but I never had the courage to leave. I tossed my bag down, kicked off my shoes, and walked past the mirror in the hallway. And something made me stop. I turned back and looked at myself. Really looked. Not just at the clothes or the messy hair. I looked into my own eyes. And what I saw, I didn't recognize it. There was no fire, no spark. Just a tired, hollow version of who I used to be. That moment, that second of clarity, that unexpected confrontation with myself, it tore something open inside me. Because in that mirror, I saw the truth. I wasn't living. I was existing, floating, surviving, not choosing anything, just letting life push me wherever it wanted. And maybe you know that feeling too. That quiet ache inside your chest that says, there has to be more than this. We all have that moment. The moment when the lies we tell ourselves start to crack. The moment when you realize you built a life around fear, around comfort, around pretending to be okay. That was mine. It wasn't a car crash. It wasn't a lost job or a broken heart. It wasn't rock bottom. It was a glance, a mirror, a man who no longer believed in the person staring back at him. That's the scary part. Sometimes, the most powerful moments are the quietest. They don't shout. They whisper. They don't slam doors. They show you the ones you've been afraid to open. They don't break you. They reveal where you're already broken. And here's what I realized. That moment, it wasn't there to hurt me. It was there to wake me up. It said, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep living half alive. You weren't made to settle. And maybe that's where you are right now. Looking in your own mirror. Seeing a version of yourself you don't recognize. Feeling like time is slipping by, and you're just watching it happen. But here's the truth. That moment, the one that breaks you wide open. It's a gift. A beginning. A spark. It's not the end of who you were. It's the start of who you can become. So when that moment comes for you, don't run. Don't ignore it. Don't numb it. Feel it. Because that moment, that one moment, it can change everything. I wasn't always like this. You see this voice? This fire in my eyes? This conviction in my words? It wasn't always there. There was a time, not too long ago, when I'd wake up every single morning with a knot in my chest. Not from stress, not from work, but from something deeper, something darker. It was a quiet kind of exhaustion, the kind that sleep can't fix. You close your eyes hoping for rest, but wake up even more tired than before. Tired of pretending. tired of existing, tired of playing a role in a life that doesn't feel like yours. I was surrounded by people, laughing, working, sharing, but I was utterly alone. Not in body, but in soul. Because no one really saw me. And the truth is, I didn't see myself either. I became a master at hiding it. I wore the right smile, said the right things, laughed at the right moments. But inside, it felt like something was slowly dying. Like every day, a piece of me was being chipped away, and I couldn't stop it. And the scariest part? I didn't even realize how far I'd drifted. That's how it works, doesn't it? Life doesn't always hit you like a hurricane. Sometimes, it's a slow, gentle drift. A quiet settling. You stop chasing. You stop dreaming. You stop feeling. And before you know it, you're miles away from who you used to be. You forget what it's like to feel alive. You forget what it's like to wake up with purpose burning in your chest. You forget you. I had dreams once. Big ones. Wild ones. The kind of dreams that kept me awake at night, not because I was scared, but because I couldn't wait to chase them. But over time, they got buried. Under fear. Under rejection. Under the loudest voice of all, the one inside my own head, whispering, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Why even try?" And I believed it. I swallowed every lie. I let it shape me. Until one day, something snapped. It wasn't a grand breakdown. It wasn't a dramatic fall. It was subtle. It was quiet. But it was real. I found myself sitting in my car, parked in the same spot I always parked, staring at the steering wheel like it was a question I couldn't answer. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there. And in that stillness, a question rose from somewhere deep inside me, a question I had been running from for years. Is this really who I'm meant to be? I didn't have the answer. Not then. But the question was enough to shake me awake. Because once you ask it, really ask it, you can't go back to pretending. That question pierced through the fog. It reached the version of me I had buried under fear and silence. And maybe you've asked yourself the same thing. Maybe you're feeling that same ache. That quiet voice asking if there's more. If there's still something left inside you worth fighting for. Let me tell you this. The answer is yes. That question? It was the beginning of my transformation. It was the first time I looked at my life not through the lens of what I had to settle for, but what I was truly meant to become. And maybe, just maybe, this moment right here, hearing these words, this could be your beginning too. It was a time when everything seemed to be just fine. Life was routine, predictable. I woke up at the same time every day, went to work, did my tasks, spoke with people, smiled, and went home. The days blurred together, one indistinguishable from the other. There were minor challenges, a missed deadline here, a difficult conversation there, but nothing out of the ordinary. On the outside, it looked like I had it together. People probably thought I was fine. But inside, something was different. I felt like I was going through the motions, but not really living. My energy was spent, yet I could never quite rest. It was as though my soul was tired, but my body kept moving. The more I tried to fit into this routine, the more I felt out of place. I'd stare into the mirror, see the same face staring back, but it wasn't really me. I had lost sight of who I was, or maybe I never truly knew who I was in the first place. There was a disconnection between what I showed the world and what I felt inside. It was like living in a shell. I smiled, I laughed, I joked, but none of it was real. It was a mask I wore every day to hide the emptiness I felt. And the worst part? I didn't even know how deep that emptiness ran. I was so caught up in just surviving that I hadn't realized how far I had drifted from my true self. It happened suddenly, like a lightning strike on a calm day. One moment, everything seemed manageable, and the next, I was drowning. It wasn't just one thing, but a series of events that collided into one overwhelming wave. It started with a rejection email, something I'd grown used to. But this time, it wasn't just a missed opportunity. It felt like the final straw. The weight of it hit me harder than I expected. I sat there staring at the screen, reading the same words over and over again, as if somehow they would change. But they didn't. My heart sank. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. The rejection wasn't just about the job or the opportunity. It felt like another reminder of how far I'd fallen from the person I thought I'd become. My breath caught in my chest, and my hands, trembling, were stuck on the keyboard. It was as if the entire world had suddenly closed in on me, suffocating me with its relentless pressure. I tried to shake it off. "It's just another rejection. You can move past this," I told myself, but the words felt hollow. I reached for my phone to distract myself, scrolling through social media, but every image, every post, only reminded me of my failure. Everyone else seemed to be moving forward, achieving things, while I was stuck in the same place, broken and lost. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a setback. This felt like the tipping point. I began to replay everything in my head, all the failed attempts, the missed chances, the mistakes that had piled up over the years. Each thought was like a stone being added to a weight I didn't know how to carry. "What's wrong with me?" I thought. "Why can't I just get it right?" Denial mixed with frustration, and somewhere between the confusion, there was anger. Anger at myself for not being enough. Anger at the world for seeming so unfair. I wanted to scream, but instead, I sat there, motionless, lost in a whirlwind of emotions. The room felt smaller. The air felt thicker. It was as if time itself had frozen, trapping me in that moment of failure. I was spiraling, and I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know where to turn anymore. I felt like I was drowning, but there was no water. Just an emptiness, hollow and vast, swallowing everything inside of me. The rejection, the failure, the endless string of disappointments, it all built up into a crushing weight that I couldn't escape. Every day felt like I was trudging through mud, stuck in place while the world moved on without me. The people around me seemed to have it all figured out, their lives progressing, their dreams taking shape, while I stood still, lost and helpless. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to hear, "It's going to be okay," or, "Don't worry, you'll get through this." Those words felt like lies. They didn't understand. No one did. How could they? How could anyone possibly understand what it's like to wake up every day feeling like you've already failed before you've even begun? What's the point? I kept asking myself over and over, why keep trying when it feels like nothing ever works out? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not meant for success. Maybe I'm just destined to be stuck in this endless loop of disappointment. I could hear the voice in my head growing louder with every passing second. You're not enough. You'll never make it. You're a failure. The words seemed to echo through my thoughts, like a broken record that couldn't be stopped. I wanted to silence it. I wanted to scream, to break free from the torment, but all I could do was listen, paralyzed by the weight of my own self-doubt. Every moment felt like I was slipping further away from who I thought I was, or who I thought I could be. I wasn't sure what to do anymore. I didn't know where to go. I just felt lost, like I was walking through a fog, unable to see the way forward, but too scared to turn back. Was this all I had left? Was this what my life had become? And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, something happened that would change everything. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was a whisper. A quiet thought that flickered through my mind like a dying ember, barely noticeable at first. But it stayed with me. A feeling, a thought, a pull that I couldn't ignore. It was a glimmer of something I hadn't felt in what seemed like forever. Hope. I couldn't tell if it was real or just my desperate attempt to make sense of the chaos. But deep down, I knew that something was about to shift. I didn't know what it would look like or how it would happen, but I could feel it. A choice had to be made, and whether I was ready for it or not, it was coming. The question was, would I make the decision that could pull me out of this dark place, or would I let it swallow me whole?